welcome to Abilene Means Business, the television show of the Abilene Area Chamber of Commerce here on Eagle Communications Channel 2. I'm James Holland, the Executive Director of the Abilene Area Chamber of Commerce. And this month our guest is John Shaft, Chef John Shaft.
Hi, James.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and John has just recently opened a new restaurant in downtown Abilene called 311. And if you haven't been there, you should stop in and try it. We'll get to talking a little bit about the food here in a little bit, but I think I've heard nothing but rave reviews. And John, how long have you been open right now?
We've been open a month now.
About a month.
We've been open about a month now. We did 2 or 3 weeks of soft opening. We had a grand opening, and now this is really our first full week with no excitement.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we're doing.
Well, we hope there's no excitement. That
there's always
like it should be.
Always excitement, but as far as any special events, this should be our week to figure out what the norm might be.
Get the little kinks worked out.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about Chef John here.
Well, let's see, Chef John. I've probably been cooking for about 20 years or so. Started. Where did I start? I worked as a credit person, and I got tired of that, and one day I woke up and said, I want to cook food. And so I went to a restaurant and begged to get hired, and they hired me, and that was the starting of my career. And from there, I decided I was too old to start at the bottom, so I went to culinary school in Houston, Texas, and then we went back to Kansas City, back to Florida. I worked at the PGA National Resort and Spa for 5 years as the exec sous chef. I was a tour chef for George Strait, Alan Jackson, the Backstreet Boys, Tom Petty, Sting, pick a band, and I probably cooked for them. Other than that, I had a restaurant in Florida that was very successful on the St. Lucie River. And at that time, we decided to leave Florida and start a food truck with Lise Duckwall of Abilene, Kansas. And Lisa and I decided that the food truck would be something very good in Abilene. So I came to Abilene 2 years ago and worked the food truck, and we decided we wanted a restaurant because this town needs something to make it happen. So this is the restaurant to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've got a lot of interesting stories about cooking on tour and those types of things.
Yes.
Maybe that's
probably not for TV.
Maybe that's not for TV.
Probably not for TV.
But
exactly.
we'll catch up on that one later.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So. Yeah, wonderful. And I think the food truck. I know that's kind of where you cut your teeth in Abilene, and people kind of knew about you and had some of your tacos and whatnot,
right.
And it was very, very good. And so I think there was a lot of excitement when you opened this place. Like I said, I haven't heard anything negative about your food or service. So tell me a little bit about your food. I know it's kind of, we got the menu here.
Well,
and I know it's kind of, some of these say handhelds, but I will tell you, having had the brisket sandwich, if you pick that up with your hands, it's going to be all over the place. Cause
I have a hard time making small food. I don't know how to make small portions. I started in catering. I started with big banquets and things like that. So I also feel like if you're going to go out to eat, you need to get your money's worth. And to do that, you need some food, more than just a couple pieces of meat between some bread. So our theory here is we're the Key West of the Midwest. We want to bring that laid-back, fun feeling to Abilene. We decorated with music stuff and Floridian paradise type interior. Our food ranges from, I do mahi tacos, which are a fish taco. I do carnitas tacos. We have giant sandwiches. We smoke all our own meats in-house. We slice everything. All our food is fresh. And we run out of it every day, usually by 7 or 7:30. So you know that the next day you're coming in, you're not getting something that's reheated and just thrown back on your plate. We change the menu probably monthly. We'll always have the 6 or 7 staples that we do, but we'll switch things up. We have a dinner menu that we put out at 4, which consists of hand-cut steaks, fish, shrimp, and nice rice pilaf or a vegetable or something like that. And we also do vegetarian dishes. I'm not big on it, but I'll do them. But I need a little notice before that. So that's kind of the menu.
Yeah. And I think, there's a lot of things on here that somebody may be familiar with in other places, but what I've noticed is you've got your own twist on it, which really
right.
It's not, it's got chef's signature
Right,
on
you're
there.
not
So
you're not
it's-
going to find this in Salina.
Yeah.
You might find a brisket sandwich in Salina, but you're not going to find a brisket sandwich like ours.
Right, exactly.
So,
Yeah,
that's kind of what we do.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, we put our spin on it, and we kind of make it a little bigger and better. And stealing Tim Holmes' line, we don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the best.
Yep.
And that's what we're working to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Abilene has a little bit of a history of having some destination dining type of locations. Of course, we had the Kirby House, which unfortunately burnt down, but it was a formal, semi-formal dining. We've had a number of long-time successful, locally owned restaurants in town.
Right.
Where do you see you fitting in with that mix that's already there, and you've kind of carved out your own niche now, right?
Yeah, like I say, we're completely different than any other restaurant in Abilene. Just from the decor to the attitude to the food to our bar, which is probably the only bar probably Manhattan's the closest that would offer all craft beers, and all our beers on tap are craft. We try to use beers from local distributors around Kansas. So that's kind of our niche, is we want to become the place that we promote Kansas businesses that make and do things and that can help us survive and that we can help them survive. So that's kind of our niche.
Yeah. And I think that Abilene, with the mix of diverse restaurants that we do have that are locally owned, even people in Salina and Manhattan, once you've been to the same place 2 or 3 times, you're like, okay, I need to go somewhere new. Well, Abilene's got something different for you.
Exactly.
And I think marketing our community as a destination dining location, is good for our traditional traveler, but also those people who are just, they don't mind taking the 30 minutes to have something different, and that's.
Well, we're right on, Main Street, USA.
Yep.
There's no reason why you shouldn't stop here, and there's lots to do in Abilene, and we're just one of the stops in Abilene for you to come and enjoy and partake in.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of in the next few years, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on that from a marketing standpoint for the community as a whole, which is going to drive business to you guys. And
no, I think that there's a lot that's going to happen in the next few years here in Abilene. I think that it's on the up, and there's people that want to make this city more than it is and keep it on the map so it doesn't become one of those old Kansas towns that just dies and nobody cares about.
I think there's a positive vibe out
there right
now,
lots of
which
positives
is
here in
good.
Abilene.
Yeah.
There's lots of young people coming back. There's just a lot going on. We have lots of good people in leadership roles that are now taking those positions and doing something with them to make this city a great city.
Yep, very good. And let's talk a little bit about, at the Chamber of Commerce, I from time to time get people come in and say, here's a business plan I want to do. I want to do a restaurant, and oftentimes it's people who cook really good at home, but then it doesn't transfer terribly well to running a business.
Not at all.
And so tell me a little bit about the restaurant business and kind of what are some of the challenges, both long term and day to day, you guys have.
Challenge today. Your camera can pan back to my kitchen, which is a complete mess because I don't ever have time to clean it. So the challenges are trying to run a business, keep everything running daily, yet satisfying the customers that come in, satisfying us as owners and employees. And the restaurant business is just, it's a crazy business. It's up early in the morning, it's at bed late at night, it's worrying about, is your fryer gonna work in the morning, is your delivery gonna come on time, what's leaking. I mean, you have to wear all sorts of hats in the restaurant business. You just don't come in and cook food and serve beer. It's a lot more than that. And anybody that thinks they can do it at home and that it's a good idea to open a new restaurant, come and talk to me and I'll show you how hard it really is. Because you don't just wake up one day and go, I want to open up a restaurant, because there's a lot to it that goes on. So it's just hard work. It's like everything else we do in the world. It's hard work, but we do it because we love it, and we want to provide a service, and we're in the hospitality business, and it makes me feel good to make people feel good, and the best way to do that is to eat food and have a good time.
Yeah. And it is definitely a hospitality business. I think you got to stress on that because I think, the food is only half the equation.
Right.
And most people, if they go out and dine, lots of times it's the attitude of the server or the cleanliness. It's other things.
It's everything.
Not always just
it's
the
not
food.
just the food. The food is good, and my food is great. But also, we want to provide a place where you can come and feel relaxed and kind of take you away from your daily, normal things that you think of. So you can come here, listen to some music, kind of get lost in the craziness that goes on in the Midwest of the Key West, which is Restaurant 311.
Yeah. The ambiance and the people moving around and the chit chat and whatnot.
Exactly. It's like a busy little subway station at times.
There's definitely a buzz in here.
Always a buzz going on around here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You can always have something buzzing around here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's I know it's a risk to do these things, and I know a lot of our local banks, when talking with other potential restaurateurs, their biggest fear is that you haven't been in the business long enough,
right.
and of course capital is part of it, but management in the restaurant business is so key because, as you mentioned, you're juggling so many balls. It's not like a retail, and you do your thing. I mean, you got to deal with everything.
I got to deal with everything, and so
yeah.
I have my wife, Helen Darrington. She runs the front of the house. She's the general manager, and she does a great job. She's the face of the business because she just knows how to handle it. She's the hospitality person. I'm the guy that cooks the really good food, and she's the one that makes everybody smile and keeps the place running and keeps all of us on track. And we couldn't do it without her. And the other person we couldn't do it out with would be Lise Duckwall. And Lise was a major part of why this restaurant is here and how it got started, and his feelings for the community and how he wants to better this town. And I just feel honored to be able to work with him and help him to get to what we want to do to make this a good spot for Abilene, Kansas.
Yeah, and I think he's probably a pretty good partner because he is very passionate about food.
Yes.
He is, I don't know how many cooking schools he's gone to, but
he's one of those guys
yeah.
that watch the cooking show, loves to cook, has a passion for food, but doesn't have the ability to run the restaurant. So his knowledge of helping us get this up and going and his input and support are what he provides and what we couldn't do without. So we appreciate Lise Duckwall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he's been a major part of this.
Yeah, and I know the things that he likes to cook take several hours to prepare. So
yeah,
it doesn't transfer over.
He's not going to be working in the kitchen because he's really good at home and his food is excellent. It takes him quite a while, but he would get lost if he had to do it daily in the restaurant. So his position is support and guidance is what we look for from him.
Yeah, and so the menu probably reflects that. I mean, these are things that it doesn't take 3 hours to prep for.
Exactly.
And
Some, like the brisket, I do briskets, those go in overnight. We cook them overnight here in the smoker, and the pork is the same way. But everything else is, very simple. It looks hard, but it's not. It's just food. It's not brain surgery. We're not operating on anybody. We're just cooking some food and having a good time.
Yep, absolutely. And it may be a little early in your operation here, but how has staffing been? Was it pretty easy to find employees?
Staffing's horrible to find. We have a very good staff now. It took us a while to get there. We couldn't do without. There's 6 of us that work here, and there's 6 people that run this joint, and we do it 5 days a week, and we couldn't do it without the support staff that we have. It is tough finding good restaurant help in this town because that's not what people do here. They're not restaurant people, So we had to look hard, and we found the right team, and we've made it, and we're going to continue with them.
Yeah, and the cast of characters you have in here, your team, I'll call them cast of characters.
They're a cast of characters.
I only say that because I know several of them from around town, and they do have, from my observation, a wealth of experience in the restaurant business, and that helps.
Well,
but
Jason, our bartender, used to be the proprietor here before we took it over. It was Maddie's Pub, and Jason's a vital part of what we do. He runs the bar. He knows the bar business more than I do, which I know the restaurant business. We have Kelly here that is great on the floor that just keeps everybody going. Mm-hmm. Chelsea is our other server during the day, and then we have Laura, and we have a dishwasher. So without those folks, we couldn't do it. But they've all been in the restaurant business. They've all have many years of experience, and we're very, very lucky to have each of them here with us every day.
Yeah. But if you did hire somebody new who doesn't have that experience, what are you looking for in that type of an employee?
Somebody that's willing to learn, that doesn't think they know everything, that understands that the restaurant business isn't just taking orders and cooking food. It's cleaning, it's putting product away. There's a vast lot of things to do here. We all pitch in and do dishes. We all try to prep. We all try to help each other, and that's what I look for, is somebody that wants to be part of a team and that's proud of what they do and wants to make something special of their city and of the place they work.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a deceptive, and maybe not deceptive, but I don't think people really realize how physical it is to be a waiter or a waitress, or those
Right.
types of things. I mean, it
Right.
is. And to sometimes to do those things with a smile is
Exactly.
Is
you spend
it takes a special person
14
to
hours
do it really good.
14 hours a day here, and then you've got to come back the next morning and put a smile on and be ready to go. And sometimes it's not easy, but that's what we do. We're in the hospitality business, and that's why we do it, is because we like making people happy.
Yep, you gotta love it.
If you don't love it, then don't be in it. That's my best advice. If you don't love what you're doing, then go find something else and love that.
Yep, yep, awesome.
Right on.
Well, I appreciate your time today,
James,
John. And
thank you
I'll
so
let
much.
You let me
get back to my mess. And I'm sorry I forgot you guys were coming. I look kind of a mess, but that's what it is. You don't look beautiful in the restaurant business, and we do it. And you guys, everybody come out. Anybody that's watching, come on out. Come and say hi to us. Come and have a bite of food. We'll listen to you. We love hearing people talk and tell us what we do right and what we don't do. So just come and give us a word of advice and have some food with us.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, we're glad you're here.
Thanks, James. We're glad to be here.
We're here to support you all the way.
Right on. And whatever we can do for the chamber and for this city, we'll do it.
All right.
We're 100% behind here, and we're going to make this all work real well.
Awesome.
Right on, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, we'll let John get back to prepping. It's mid-morning, and he's got a lunch shift.
I got a lunch shift coming on. So everybody come down and eat. Come and see us, and pop in and say hi, and you saw us on the TV.
Yep.
Right on. Peace.
Yep, and you can find 311 on Facebook.
Facebook
right?
under 311. Spell it out. 311. We're always there. Like us, and the menu's on there, and what we do every day is on there.
Yep. And we're here at 311 North Spruce.
That's right.
If you need to know the address. 311. Grand opening was on March 11th. So there's a theme running through here.
It's the bright blue building. You can't miss it. We're the only giant bright blue building in the middle of downtown Abilene.
It's the big wave.
The big wave. I like that. Perfect.
The big wave.
Thanks, James.
Absolutely.
We appreciate everything.
Absolutely.
Right on.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up, and perhaps you'll get some scenery shots of the new venue here. But I'd like to thank John once again for being our guest here on Abilene Means Business, and we will see you next month.